breaking news.
Today, people filled the streets with drums, songs, and flags draped over themselves, all with one message: say no to the strict new immigration laws in Florida. They'll go into effect July 1st.
The new Florida laws do things like requires hospitals to find out a patient's immigration status. They also require employers with 25 or more workers to use the E-Verify system and upgrade punishments for those who don't. And many of the migrant workers believe this would not only be a disaster for their community, but for the Florida economy. But most of all, they say they want everyone to know they love this country.
Today at 4, we bring you team coverage.
Human beings, that we're not criminals, that we love this country like everybody else does. And we're here to make a better life and support our family, bring food on our table.
Today at 4, we bring you team coverage from inside the protest. Wink News anchors Annette Montgomery and Emma Heaton are in the middle of the protest today. We're also at a protest that sides with the law, as Wink News meteorologist Juliana Mejia tells us about the heat that those protesters face. They say the new law has many living in fear of what is to come. Hello, I'm Amanda Hall.
And some are fighting because they fear it could rip apart families. I'm Russ McCaskey. Right now, we want to take you to Wink News anchor Annette Montgomery. Annette, a counter protest just got underway. Why do they say they're in favor of the new law?
Well, Russ and Amanda, first, people who support this new immigration law says it keeps people safe and saves taxpayers money. This law is meant to make Florida unattractive to undocumented workers, making them even foot their doctor's bills. Now, you can see behind me some of the people rallying for this bill is here. Now, the governor says it will save money because taxpayers will not foot the bill for people not paying their fair share. Now, this rally organized by the Lee County GOP, which you're looking at right now, is expected to begin any moment. They're countering a protest that's lasted most of the day. The signs spell it out. They pretty much speak for themselves.
It's horrible, the life that we're living right now.
Patricia Navarra says she's the daughter of 2 undocumented immigrants. Her fear is that her parents' fear will only get worse once Florida's immigration bill becomes law this Saturday. So she marched Wednesday for them. But so many others in her life, her neighborhood, her parents, did not.
A lot of people actually did not come because they are afraid to come out of their house too, which is extremely sad.
The new law not only makes employers verify whether its employees have the legal right to work in the U.S., but also limits social services for undocumented immigrants and allocates more tax dollars, $12 million more, to Florida's migrant relocation program. So far, the governor's ordered flights that took migrants from Texas to both Massachusetts and California.
And it just makes me sad because in my town, literally in Immokalee, Florida, it's now empty because all the people are leaving.
These protesters walked nearly 5 miles from Centennial Park in Fort Myers, El Nuevo Maguey, near I-75. For Patricia and Stephanie, this simple walk by a couple hundred people, they pray, may be the spark that leads to change for hundreds of thousands of undocumented workers in Florida.
I know that it will make a change, this protest. I know it's not just a waste of time. That's why I'm out here protesting for all our immigrants.
Now you can see members of the Lee County GOP and actually members from all across Florida. I spoke with some of these people here today who told me they traveled all the way from Okeechobee to be here. You can see some of them have gathered around here, and you can hear from these counter protests at 5. Now Wink News anchor Emma Heaton joins us at El Nuevo Maguey restaurant. Now Emma, immigrants there say they're not just fighting for the new law, but they're also fighting for their families too.
Yeah, and that's why protesters were so determined to be seen and heard. There were undocumented immigrants in today's protest that set their fears aside just to send a message. Now, protesters held signs that say, "We want a future in peace, fight ignorance, not immigrants, no SB 1718, and walked shouting out for change. Nilda Tohanchi, one organizer, told me so often undocumented immigrants are judged without regard to their story and why they're here to begin with. Tohanchi believes if the state follows through and enforces the provision in the new law that demands employers verify their workers are legally able to work in the U.S., both documented and undocumented people will leave because they just won't feel safe."
Well, half of my family are immigrants, and they live hidden. They live finding jobs that will pay them whatever it is that they can take just so they can make the next bill, the next groceries. They don't seek medical attention because they're scared to be ripped away from their family. From my personal family story, A lot of my family has already become American citizens, but a lot of them have been and still are being denied.
Nilda told me most migrants aren't here to cause trouble, just to make a better life for themselves and their families and just want to live in peace. And by the way, everyone in today's protest did so in the blazing heat. It is extremely hot outside, so let's toss it over to Wink News meteorologist